At 4 a.m., I saw something in my son's basement. I grabbed the kids and ran. I didn't mean to wake up at 4 a.m., but sometimes your body knows something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That night, I opened my eyes into complete silence. The kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. It feels wrong, heavy, like the house itself was holding its breath. I lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling of my son Daniel's guest room, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Just age, maybe. Or nerves. I wasn't used to sleeping in other people's homes anymore, even if it was my own son's. Still, something felt off. And then I heard it. A faint sound. Not loud, not even clear. But enough. A slow, dragging noise. From downstairs. From the basement. My heart gave a small, uneasy thump. Now let me tell you something. I'm not the type of woman who scares easily. I raised 2 kids on my own after my husband passed. I've handled grief, bills, broken pipes, and broken hearts. Fear and I, we've met before. But this was different. Because I knew something else too. Daniel and his wife, Melissa. They always locked the basement. Always. I had noticed it the moment I arrived 2 days ago. There was a keypad on the door. Not just a simple lockable code system. Just storage, Mom, Daniel had said casually when I asked. Storage? Who puts a security system on storage? At the time, I laughed it off. Now, lying in the dark at 4 a.m., listening to that slow dragging sound, I wasn't laughing anymore. I sat up slowly, careful not to make a sound. The house was still. No footsteps. No voices. Just that faint movement below. My first instinct was to wake Daniel. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the way he'd avoided my eyes when I asked about the basement. Or the way Melissa had quickly changed the subject. Or maybe it was just a mother's instinct. Because deep down I knew, if I woke him up, I might not get the truth. So instead, I slipped out of bed. The wooden floor creaked softly under my feet, and I froze for a second, listening. Nothing. Just silence again. I grabbed my robe, wrapped it tightly around me, and stepped into the hallway. The house looked different at night. You ever notice that? The same place, same walls, same furniture. But in the dark, everything feels unfamiliar. Shadows stretch where they shouldn't. Corners look deeper, colder. I moved slowly, one step at a time, until I reached the staircase. And that's when I saw it. A faint light. Coming from downstairs. My breath caught. Because Daniel and Melissa always turn everything off before bed. I had watched them do it myself. Every night. Except tonight. I placed my hand on the railing and began to descend, each step sending a quiet echo through the silence. That dragging sound grew clearer. Closer. It wasn't random. It was rhythmic. Like something being pulled. Slowly. Across the floor. By the time I reached the bottom, my heart was pounding so loud I was sure someone would hear it. But no one came. The living room was dim, lit only by that faint glow coming from the kitchen. And beyond it, the basement door. It was slightly open. Just a crack. That alone made my stomach drop. Because I remembered clearly Daniel had closed it tightly earlier that night. I had even heard the keypad beep. Now it stood there. Open. Like it was waiting. For me. I swallowed hard. This was the moment. The moment where a normal person turns around, goes back upstairs and pretends they heard nothing. But I didn't, because upstairs, my grandchildren were sleeping. Two little souls who trusted this house to keep them safe. And suddenly, I wasn't so sure it could. I stepped forward. Slowly. Carefully. Each step felt heavier than the last, like the air itself was thickening the closer I got. The dragging sound stopped. Just like that. Silence. A deep, suffocating silence. I reached the door and placed my fingers against it. Cold. Unnaturally cold. My hand trembled slightly as I pushed it open just a little more. The hinges let out a soft creak. And then, I saw the light. Dim, flickering, coming from the bottom of the stairs. And something else. A shadow. Moving. My breath hitched in my throat. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to run. But I didn't, because I needed to know. I leaned closer, just enough to see down the staircase. And that's when I heard it. A whisper. Soft, low, almost pleading. I couldn't make out the words. But I knew one thing for sure. That voice did not belong to Daniel or Melissa. My heart dropped into my stomach. Because if it wasn't them, then who? A sudden thud echoed from below, loud enough to make me jump back. And then silence again. I stood frozen, my mind racing. This wasn't storage. This wasn't normal. This was something else. Something hidden. Something wrong. And in that moment, one thought hit me harder than anything else. My grandchildren were sleeping in this house. I didn't know what was down there. But I knew one thing. I couldn't leave them here. Not until I knew the truth. I took a step back from the basement door, my chest rising and falling rapidly. I needed a plan. I needed to stay calm. Because whatever was happening in that basement, I had a feeling this was only the beginning.